Now he's in like a glove. Like a glove. Okay, hold on, let me get my notes. Got this new bottle. It's an absolute beast.
Is it
It's a liter and it's like stainless steel and shit. It's good, man.
So you put hot water in there and it keep it
Can
hot?
do, yeah. Put coffee and all in there if you wanted to.
Perfect.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pear Pod. Sorry for the week absence there. I was away in Provence, southern France. It was a lovely getaway. Thank you for asking. Today, I'm joined by, believe it or not, you were my first client in Spain. So, man showed belief early on. I appreciate that. I'm joined by pro boxer, owner of the 12 Rounds Gym here in Estepona in Marbella, Joe Sherriff.
Thank you very much, man.
Joe, thank you for coming on, mate. I appreciate it. We're going to get into all your, obviously you have a fight coming up and you have a long and very interesting story to talk about, which we've already gone into a little bit. But before, I saw you were travelling a lot during the summer. What was your favourite moment from your summer travels?
There's so many. And the reason for travelling, because July and August, as you know, here in Marbella, gets heaving.
It's mad scene,
It's crazy. So, I mean, you know, when you live here, it's nice. And, you know, I'm not saying I don't welcome tourists because this place is built on tourism. But, you know, I've had such a busy year with the gym. And I had a fight planned in June that got postponed until now. So we used July and August when all my clients are too busy partying in the other places.
Sure, I got to cancel Monday, Joe. I'm in home in 2 days.
And I just thought, you know, I'll just bite the bullet and I'll take the bull by the horns and I'll go away myself and enjoy and do what everyone else is doing. So there's so many. I mean, I went to Bali and went for a month, but I was training there. I made some contacts potentially with the champs camp as well, so I'm trying to expand that as well. And a beautiful place, Bali, but then Peru and Colombia were two different places because I've always wanted to see the Machu Picchu. And I've always wanted to go to Medellin for the history and whatever.
This guy, man, this traveller here,
it's cool. I love that. You know,
you do love that.
Irish. I'm half Irish, so that's where it comes from. I think I've got the travelling side in me. So but yeah, there were so many good moments, and it's just it's good to be back and back to routine, you know. From someone like from watching you, like you're an animal of routine, like every morning. So I'd say when you get out of that, even for me, I went away for a week and I was like, fuck, can't wait to get back into my fucking routine. Like, so for you want to get back to 6 a.m. runs like Wim Hof and all that. Yeah, literally.
I just because I haven't had a chance to talk to you about it, did you watch the USYK Joshua fight?
I did. I did manage to watch it.
Just quick thoughts on it, nothing major, but just your reaction to it more than anything.
I thought Joshua did better than he did.
100%.
But there's a few factors. USYK was a much better boxer. I don't think Joshua had a long time with Robert Garcia, so that could have played a factor. There's a few things, but I think 9 times out of 10, USYK would beat Joshua. Yeah. You know, and that's just my opinion, you know. And
just literally in the news today, they're getting apparently closer to a Tyson Fury Anthony Joshua fight. Who would you fancy in that? Like, it's a fucking soap opera and all that shit right now, but it's some scrap if they do it. And that'd be
it's
a
great
scrap.
fight. It's a great fight, and you know, people would understandably write Joshua off because he's had 2 defeats. He hasn't looked really amazing since the Andy Ruiz fight, which I think has kind of made him a bit gun shy. But, you know, I think in his last fight, he did show that he had that will to win. Yeah. Maybe not enough to beat USYK, but I think because of the nature of this fight and how big it is in Britain, he will go out all guns blazing. I hope so anyway, to make the fight that it does, because, you know, on paper, everyone's writing him off completely. And, you know, I really genuinely do believe that if he does lose this fight to Fury, especially in Britain, it's almost like,
it's tough.
Yeah, everyone writes him off, and it's a long way back, you know. Yeah. So great fight.
And final one, we actually talked about this a little bit. The BENN versus EUBANK Jr.
Great fight.
What a scrap, man! What a scrap.
I see, when I was growing up, I loved both their dads, because Nigel had
sweet tea. Like a sweet tea.
That's what. Hello.
People take the piss. He was a hard fuck, man. My God.
I preferred him. It's weird because I preferred his finesse, and he was just he's kind of
He was quite suave.
Yeah,
wasn't he?
suave.
Yeah.
And I like the way he used to dress and everything like that. And both of them, like Nigel was just a nasty bastard.
He was.
Bastard,
Yeah, fuck yeah, he was.
So both of them, and then having their sons almost emulate their style. I mean, Chris Eubank Jr., I seen him the other day, and he was eating a burger.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw
like 60%. He's getting in his head, and obviously Nigel was exactly the same as when he was younger. He'd bite to Chris's arrogance, and like I think Connor's kind of trying not to, but he can't bite to it. So it's a great fight. We'll probably never see this again.
Yeah.
Great fight.
I hope everything goes well with the weight and all that stuff, and nothing happens with that, and they get to actually do it. But Eubank Jr. is a nasty fucker, man. I
think he'll win.
He's a horrible fuck.
I
saw him throwing check hooks on Instagram today, just doing check hooks, and I was like, my god, they're fucking nippy. Fuck. Yeah. Come on, what scrap? Unbelievable. Great and they're both going to make good money. So
yeah.
So for yourself, now you grew up in Coventry.
Yeah.
Correct. What was life in Coventry growing up like?
Well, in the 90s, I think. I mean, I was born late 80s, 87. So Coventry City won the FA Cup for the first and probably the last time in my lifetime.
Stand up.
But no, seriously, I'm a Coventry City fan, and that was the year they won the FA Cup. And my memories really are growing up in the 90s, which Coventry then was. It was like any place in. I think it was a good time. Growing up, you playing out and playing football and
simpler times.
Just simple times. We didn't have much technology. I think we had like the Nintendo or the Sega Mega Drive or whatever it was.
Maybe one lad in your group would have it, and you get to go over to his house.
Yeah, exactly. But you go and knock on his door, and then it wouldn't be like phone and
ride your bikes over,
and stuff like that. Playing in the parks and stuff. So it was a good time, and just a simple childhood, humble beginnings. Didn't really. There was. I've got 8 siblings. There's 9 of us. I've got 6 sisters, 2 brothers.
We talked about your brother a bit.
Yeah.
We'll get him on here one day.
Yeah, we'll get him on here one day. So I've got a big family, one of 9, and like I say, humble beginnings really. But what we didn't have materials, like a lot of kids these days, we had we would still with good morals and things by my mum, who pretty much raised us up on her own. So we were instilled discipline and respect and all that sort of stuff, and
you can see it in you even when I met you the first time, like moral wise, very like, look mate, we do our work, I'll get you paid, all that shit, no fucking around. You can see it in you,
just straight
and discipline wise, obviously you fucking see that every day. So like that was why it was interesting. Your intro to boxing, I want to get in. I know we have obviously there's a long story, but your intro to boxing is very interesting, and then I want to talk a little bit about the difference between the amateurs and the pros.
Yeah, for sure.
So your first intro to boxing, was that the Red Corner gym? Is that the first place you trained, or did you train somewhere before that?
Right. So I loved football when I was growing up. That was like I said. Nowadays there's so many things you can do as a kid. And when we were younger, it was either play out in the street, play rat-a-tat-ginger, or cause havoc or whatever. But playing football was what I loved to do. And up until like the age of like 13, I was playing it pretty much every day. A couple of Sunday league teams and whatnot. But then I developed this. It's called Oscar Slatters on your knee. So one day, all of a sudden, I was kicking the ball straight, and then it just go woof, and I'm like, what's going on here? But it was like a shooting pain. I had a growth spurt. So with that, long story short, I had knee surgery, and I was advised not to really play football again. So at the age of like 15, there was, I wasn't really academic. I weren't really interested in school. I just wanted to either be a footballer or
start working.
Start working and earn money, do a trade or whatever. But in my circumstance, we went on I was one of the fortunate kids that was able to go on an army trip. Like, you have a week taste in the army. So it was like a work experience thing at the age of 15. And I loved it, and I thought, I could do this, So then I did my research, and then I wanted to be in the Royal Marines. I thought, they look bad, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Were you always fit? Because like people will try and get across the camera now. He's a big glass of milk like this for you. Like, so were you like when you grew up, like when you were growing up, were you always like physically big, or did you kind of grow into yourself?
Good question. No, I was a skinny little rake.
Fuck off. Were you really?
Yeah, I swear to God, I was always playing football.
Give you all hope, lads.
Yeah.
Chap's fucking swole.
I was literally, I swear to God, I was like a skinny little rake. I was always playing football, and again, you know, my path from school, even in school, I was tiny playing football. So you had these kids that were, you know, hitting puberty earlier than me, and they were like hench as.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's surprising. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Everything I'm looking at you, I'll be like, this chap has been fucking full since he was about 11. So.
No, it's not the case at all. So I mean, I was always like I say, fit playing football and whatever else. But then how I started boxing was because of the Oscar Slatters and I had the knee surgery. I was interested into going into Royal Marines, but then my friends, my best friend in particular, he was always boxing. He just loved scrapping, and I went to the boxing gym where he was, which was called the Triumph, and I went there a couple of times. But I just wasn't. It wasn't like I didn't enjoy boxing. It was just because of all my other commitments like school and like I said, my mum couldn't take me there in a car or anything like that, and it was just like getting a bus from. It was just a headache. So long story short, I didn't end up going. So after that, kind of like, you know, went back to training for the Royal Marines, left school, went in there, and how I started boxing, like how with the amateurs and stuff like that. Glenn Smith, who is my trainer and who's going to be a part of the corner for this fight. He was at a gym that I was training at when I was like 14, and before I had my knee surgery, I told him about what I wanted to do, and he was in the Royal Air Force, but he was training all the lads boxing because he was a great boxer himself. He didn't turn pro, but he was a good amateur, and he took a shine to me because he thought this kid is only like 14, but he's coming in the gym on his own. You know, he sees all these big juice sets.
That's all they're looking for, is like someone who wants to learn. Do you know what I mean?
Someone who wants to learn at the start, you know. But because I didn't have that much money at the time, I wanted to do like some of his boxing classes, but you know, I didn't have the money. So, but he took a shine to me and he gave me some advice about training, and he always stuck in my head. I had a good little rapport with him. So I've ended up going off to the Royal Marines, and I got injured on an exercise, hence why I left. This was at the age of 17. So I had a bit of time out. I went to, it was a good time really, because it was just after the Euro 2004. Then there was I think it was like June, so there was a 2-month gap or 3-month gap between June, July, August, September, before I could go to college. So my sister, when I came out of the Royal Marines, managed to get me on a college course. It was like a BTEC National Diploma, and I told her I wanted to be a PT as well, because my dream was to be a PT in the Royal Marines. But they advised me, listen, just go away, train again. But I just knew that as soon as I'd left, my life could be like, okay, I'll do my college courses, then I might go back at 21, whatever. So I've done the college courses, but then when I turned 18 and my knee I've done my rehabilitation on my knee, I found that Glenn Smith, the guy who was, you know, not mentor me, but was down the gym where I used to train up for the Royal Marines. He owned his own boxing gym now. This is like 2005 now. So then I went down there, started training, and told him what had happened. And he was like, you know, I want to get into boxing. And when I started, I had like 2 left feet. I was terrible, you know, like. Yeah. So it's like, it was, put it this way, I was one of them kids that was not naturally talented one bit.
And were you a fan of boxing? Like, did you watch the sport at all when you first went in there? Like, did you have any, like, I know, like you've watched the sport a little bit when you first started, or were you going in with like no knowledge of boxing at all when you joined?
Well, bearing in mind, I'd done a little bit when I was like 14 or 15 when I went to the standard Triumph, but I actually loved boxing, watching boxing growing up.
Who were you watching?
The likes of like Nazim.
Yeah, Prince.
He was my favourite British boxer. I love Nazim.
People forget about him, like sometimes because of like Tyson Fury and stuff. They like all the antics, but he was one of the first to do. Unbelievable,
unbelievable. But then obviously you had Nigel Benn. You had this is British boxers, by the way, and EUBANK. But then I love Mike Tyson. Obviously he was the man.
It's a good era you were watching.
That's great era, very good era. And then you had Morales and Barrera, them two fighters. So they were but I wasn't really mad into it. I'd watch big fights if they were on, but I'd be watching Match of the Day every week. Do you understand? Yeah. So like, that football was still a big part up until I left the Royal Marines and then I started boxing. So age 18, I go to the red corner and then start boxing there. I'm doing my PT courses, my college courses, and then all of a sudden, I started building a PT business once I passed my qualification. Before we had YouTube and before we had all the social media, it was all word of mouth.
Yeah.
So I've kind of grown with the times, and I've been fortunate enough to kind of build a business, and when there wasn't any of this technology around as much, and learn on the job, and I was able to do both boxing and the PT side of things. So it was a good life, and it was good.
So what was the moment where you were like, I'm going to compete and I want to start boxing amateur and then eventually going into pros? Like, where was that? Was the plan always when you first started training to be like, I'm going to fight a few lads and get just have the experience and then we'll see what happens? Or was it you had a few sessions and you were like, fuck, I'm all right at this, and you were like, let's have a few amateur scraps, and then you were like, fuck, I could probably have a go at this. I'm just trying to figure out what was the moment where you were like, fuck, there's a little something here for me that's more than just a boxing enthusiast. I can make a living out of this. Yeah,
well, the thing is with boxing is it's very addictive.
Yeah.
So I went to the gym and I was sparring guys that were like, bearing in mind I was 18, so I was sparring guys in their late 20s or early 30s. Men. Yeah. And I was getting levered, but you know what I mean. I was getting head punched off, but for some reason it was kind of like the challenge of going back and going, you know what? Nah, I'm not having that. Do you know what I mean?
And earning that respect.
And that respect almost. So it's almost like, I think and the gym itself, Red Corner, had that sense of belonging. So I felt welcome there. I felt like,
you're a part of something.
So almost like a little cult. So
except they all scrap each other. Like
we just scrap you like Fight Club. So it was kind of like, and I love the discipline side of things. Like when I come out of the Royal Marines, I actually loved the discipline that it gave you, and the routine, the training side of things. Because what had happened was, when I was in the Royal Marines, when I was doing it down in Lympstone for the training, I was very skinny, like I say, but I was fit, but I wasn't strong.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So going to a boxing gym and that challenge of bettering yourself all the time was when I come to the age of 20, so 2 years of like training and with Glenn and whatnot, and then I went to an amateur gym, my first amateur gym, and then I looked to compete. So it was like after 2 years I thought, I could do something with this.
Just quickly, it's not like a huge part of your story, but I think it's important. When you kind of described it to me, I was actually a little bit surprised at the emphasis on amateur boxing and like the point scoring style, and then the difference in pros, and like there's an adjustment there that can be made. But when you're in amateurs, like the goal is to outpoint your opponent, and you're almost you're away in head guard and stuff like that. So there's KOs are much less likely. So was that your start at the start to like throwing bunches, volume punching, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, for sure. Well, the thing that was a bit confusing was that I'd be training with Glenn, and Glenn was teaching them more of a pro style. So when I'd go to, because I'd go to an amateur gym, their style was like on your toes, in and out, to suit the amateur style back then, which was computer scoring. So the system was back then, you'd have to hit cleanly to the head, maybe the body shots didn't really get scored, so you were really kind of like just basic it's just like a, you know,
which is insane. Like when you think about it and you look back, when you want to adjust to the pros, they're like, all right, start ripping the body. You're like, I've never done body work before, I've never emphasized it, but you can't just headhunt in pro boxing, do you know what I mean? You have to be able to work both. So it was just when you made that adjustment, I was like, it's very interesting to learn this whole style your whole way, and then when you move to the pros, like, okay, now we're going to start working on trying to knock these guys out, you know? Yeah,
it's so different, and I think that's why a lot of amateurs that stayed amateur too long back then struggled to make good pros. But yeah, the style was so different. I mean, you know, I was a bit naughty really, but in the sense that I'd be training with Glenn, I'd go to the amateur gym, and the amateur coaches would be telling me, you know, what I want to do, and you know, trying to coach me, but their coaching style was very just basic, 1, 2, 4 straight punches, and you know, I'll be getting all of the proper fundamentals, you know, of slipping, rolling, you know, throwing body shots, putting my punches together, my inside work, all these things that I was getting taught at the red corner, but weren't really applied as an amateur boxer, because my amateur coaches wanted me to just box long on my toes, in and out. And it got me to a good stage, but then before I went travelling, which obviously you know the story about that, having a bit of a layoff, when I come back to boxing, it was like free freeze, pro style, and
killing each other.
Yeah, just killing each other, which would have suited me if I didn't have the layoff before the layoff. But when I come back to it, it was like, whoa, this is, you know, I had to really adapt, because I was so used to thinking, right, in my head, you know, in and out on your feet, But then, you know,
this chap's just chasing you down.
Yeah, just chasing me down, walking me down. I'm thinking, wow, okay, so I needed to change my style. So, the first entry into boxing was that amateur style, but it was so different to the pros that I think they've actually made it better by making it free.
They've unified the both, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You kind of brought it up there. Your trip, I think it's fucking obviously some story, but I think it's an important part of your story to just for people to understand like what's gone on, and even your journey without obviously Vegas, which we'll get into now, would be fucking remarkable. But the fact with obviously what we'll go into now, the fact that to get to where you are and even get back to fighting at any level is fucking remarkable, let alone do you know? So yeah, why don't you let us know what happened in Vegas, and like when you were traveling in America, because obviously we kind of shared a story. We both have traveled Vegas, and done America together, and obviously had slightly different experiences, which you'll tell us now. But yeah, fucking take it away.
Okay. So I'll take you back to 2010, and it was the under 20s novice championships in England. So we call it the ABA's under 20 bout novices, and got to the national final, but the final got pushed back at the end of the year, so it rolled into January 2011, which was just before my 24th birthday, and I ended up losing to Chevin Clark, who was the Olympian in the 2020
tough fuck
Olympics, who's making his wave in the pros. So I lost to him in the final, but I actually damaged my hand in the quarter final, but I carried on through the semi-final, won on that. And it's funny, but you can see my hand now.
You've shown it to me,
I broke it like 3 places, and I told my coach, I said, listen, I can't spar, but I said, I'm ill. But I just thought, listen, I just want to
yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll just risk it.
Bastard,
so I'll beat a really tough kid from Berkeley, Newcastle, in the semi-final, and then in the final I fought Chevin, and I'll be honest with you,
no hand.
I was just like, but to be fair, the computer scoreman, I think I won the first round, but I just knew, I thought, this, it's like, even in the changing room, I was thinking, this geezer's a monster. Like, he's gonna. I'm like literally gonna be trying to just hold. Please hold out. But listen, regardless of whether I would have had not even two hands, but he was a great fighter, and who knows how it would have played out. But he's a great fighter, and you know, to say, listen, I lost to him in the final is like, okay, no one likes to be a loser, but you know, look what he's gone on to achieve,
indeed,
and whatnot. So after that, I had to have time out. My hand wasn't in a good position. I thought, what am I going to do? I wanted to turn pro at 24. It was my 24th birthday. And I thought, you know what? I want to go travelling at some stage. But prior to that, I went down to London for a little bit for work, just experience life down in London. And then it was December 2011. I went travelling, saved some money, went travelling. Started off in Thailand, then the Philippines, then Australia, then Argentina, Brazil, and then LA and Vegas.
Some people's like whole life of traveling you did in like that summer. It's
it was
crazy,
amazing.
Man. It's unreal, man.
But I planned it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was budgeting, a little bit, but at the same time, I just thought I want to get out of my system before I turn pro, because my hand was in a good position anyway, and I was keeping myself fit by doing Muay Thai, because obviously I wasn't using my hands as much. I was using my elbows and knees and whatnot. And
fucking dangerous old proposition. Yeah. Fucking hell.
And then I was partying as well, so it was like a mixture of both. Got out of my system, but then 2 days I was in Las Vegas. And the most annoying thing for me was I was 2 days away from flying home. My friend and I were on the Vegas Strip, and we went to the Wynn Nightclub Hotel. It was when Cotto fought Mayweather.
Yeah, you were saying this to me. It would have been packed.
Right? So the Strip was kicking. And dare I say, but we were meant to meet these Canadian girls the next day for it was like a pool party. So me and my friend were like, you know what, should we just literally just go straight through? We went to and we were on we thought, you know what, we'll either go back to the hotel, stay up and go to the casino, or we will we'll go to a strip club. So we there was a taxi waiting outside the Wynn, and the taxi driver said, listen guys, we got $200 in, and you can get into like this strip club, all dances, all drinks. We were thinking like 24-year-old kids.
I've met these guys.
24-year-old lads. Yeah. We were like, yeah, okay. So anyway, we've landed at this strip club, and my friend had already I think I'd already paid for the entrance to the taxi driver. So when my friend's gone to pay again to the doorman's took the money off him, and then he said then we've looked in there. There's like hardly any girls in there. There's no one in there. We thought
3 blokes.
Yeah,
in there.
three blokes. Yeah. Like just literally just it was empty. Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, we what we're gonna do? So when I've seen that my friend's already paid, I said, what are you doing? I said, I've already paid. He's gone, what? I said, well, we'll just leave. We'll just go. There's no one in there. We'll get our money back. So the dorm was like, no. I'm like, what do you mean? Like,
brave guy.
Like, no, but he was like this big, big dude, big black dude, and there was like a few of them. So like, next thing you know, we kind of like arguing, and then one of the doormen just starts like attacking my friend. So I'm like, wow. So then obviously an altercation broke out, and I've hit one of the doormen, and as he's foul, he's actually grabbed onto my ankles in the foyer. So then like there's loads of it all obviously happened really fast, and then as I've like literally can't move from my ankles, he's literally holding on for dear life to my ankles. I've just seen underneath the sofa someone pull a knife out. Like it was like a big massive like blade. It was shining, and bearing in mind it was quite dark in the foyer, I've just seen this big shiny blade. So then I was like, fuck, you know what I mean? So then next thing you know, and the pain of the first stabbing was like horrific, because it pulled my intestines out.
Oh my god.
Then the second one went through my chest, and then the third one was at the top of the head. Now you can't really see because my hair's quite long, but when I get it cut, you can always see a scar. And I've managed to, I was screaming, my friend was screaming, oh, get the fuck away from me, and blah blah blah. So as I've staggered out the door, I must have just collapsed on the floor, and then my friend said he put his my intestines
Fucking back together.
almost like trying to put them back into the side of my body, put his thumb on my chest because obviously there's blood just like hemorraging out my chest.
What a fucking mate, like.
Yeah, oh, he's a legend. And then
What a beast. Sorry, I just had to reset the cameras there. I said, Joe, take it away. You were your mate fucking your mate's on set currently trying to put you back together.
Yeah, just trying to look at it. Yeah, like little doll that's just been ragged apart. So
and Woody from Toy Story. Like, Jesus. It's I laugh like fuck.
No,
I laugh because I don't know what else to do.
Nah,
like,
it was crazy. So
mad.
And the thing is as well that the police weren't allowed to. The ambulance weren't allowed to be on site. Because the police had to be called first in case of obviously any dangerous weapons. So my friend was just waiting there, and the ambulance come about 20 to 25 minutes because obviously the police had to come first. Now what had happened was he was trying to ask someone to call an ambulance and he wouldn't. So what he'd done is he phoned someone back home, a friend of ours, a mutual friend, a girl called Sophie, and she was kind enough to help out and ring up and whatever. So she managed to sort it. The police come, then the ambulance come, and I lost consciousness at this point. So obviously once the ambulance took me into hospital, the first memory I can remember, I was waking up on like, you know, out of intensive care, and the pain was like, when I say excruciating, it was like, oh man, obviously that to open me up and check this and that. My organs were just all over the place, and I remember just being like off my box, high as a kite and morphine.
Yeah, I'm not fucking surprised. Yeah,
and I was like, it was horrible, and I was there for 10 days. They wanted to keep me longer, but it was a weird one because I was insured. Obviously, when I went travelling, I got the best insurance there was. But what they said they weren't going to pay out because they said, oh, you'd had a drink, but the actual medical report didn't say I had a drink, so I had to cover $77,000 to get sent home, and I was like, oh, I can't. Well, there's no chance I'm going to pay it.
Just like okay.
Yeah. I'll just get.
I'll get that to you.
Yeah.
I'll get you that.
Yeah.
That's coming in real hot, mate. Coming in real hot. Don't you worry.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh man. So I was like, shit, what am I gonna do? 77. I've just been stabbed. I've been given a 77,000 bill. If I don't pay it, then obviously I'm not leaving.
For being assaulted. Like.
Yeah. I thought, how does this work? So it was crazy. So, and I remember being on the first time I got moved from intensive care to the ward. I remember they said, listen, here's a remote, put on the TV channel. Every TV station in Vegas, or they had ABC, CNN, or whatever news channel, was like helicopters flying around hospial, like, and it was just
a 19-year-old man has been in critical condition, stabbed in Las Vegas on the strip.
going to a strip bar, you know what I mean? It was just a mad one. So I'd woken up, I'd seen like all of this happen. I was thinking, this is like something out of a movie. I'm thinking, I'm living in a movie.
100%,
so
yeah.
Weird. And I remember as well, when I was lying there going into consciousness, I was thinking, I ain't gonna wake up. I'm dead.
Yeah.
Like I'm.
Jesus
it's weird.
Christ.
I seen loads of just mad stuff. I was thinking about my mom. I was thinking about like what she like her. As mad as it sounds, in that short space of time,
You think
see a
about
lot of
so
stuff,
much.
so much
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then going onto the ward, it was just like, it was a horrible. I said to my friend, my best mate, I said, listen, don't tell my mom. It was like, shit, bro, it's all over the news.
I tell you, man, what are you talking about, mate? You're on Jimmy Kimmel.
it's on all the news channels. It made the Sun or everything back home, and I was like, fuck. And I just thought, because I wanted to just tell her when I get home, but then
Listen, something small happened. It was all fun.
Yeah.
Go stop it. Nearly died in Vegas.
how do I get around this one?
California was beautiful, isn't it? Niggas stopped in Vegas, something happened.
You know what I mean? One of them ones, I'm a little. But what happened after after being on the ward, it was crazy. It was horrible because the police were coming to visit me, and they were like, what happened? I was like, look, I don't know. I said, I just told them, do you recognise these people? We were trying to catch the person who did it, and I was like, you know, we're like, well, no, we don't actually know. And they're like, you know, wow, da da da. And they actually made up a story about me saying, oh, you know, this English dude was going to look for, you know, for hookers and this and that. And
Dirty
this
fucks,
and I know, yeah. Do you know what I mean? I said, if I was, I'll tell you.
Also, in Vegas, not the weirdest thing that's ever happened. Like, do you know what I mean?
No. Do you know what I mean? But like,
That's mad, like.
the story is, we generally went to meet these Canadian girls at the Hard Rock Hotel the following day, because there was a guy from Jersey Shore who was playing.
Paulie.
Yeah, Paulie. So I remember yeah. So we were going to go see him, and then we were going to fly home like a day after that. So obviously it is what it is. So in the hospital, I managed to call up the British Embassy, and you know, after telling all my family this, that, and the other, a lot of people helped and managed to get me to fly, get the bill. I don't know who paid the bill.
Thank you.
Yeah. See, that same as ours, $7,000.
Cheers, mate.
And then I literally flew back on after 10 days on a flight back to I think it was Gatwick.
Jeez, that flight, mate. That flight.
Right, I'll tell you this now, yeah. Imagine all that air pressure, and I've just been sewn up. Obviously, you see the scar there,
It
yeah?
just fucking
I was just stitches,
rips
right?
open. Yeah.
I thought,
I'm going to
fuck
explode.
me,
on
I'm
it.
going to go bang. And I took the risk, because I thought, there's no way. I'd have like security in hospital, because it was all Russian mafia that owned the facility.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And I was thinking, they're going to iron me out. They, you know what I mean? I thought they're going to finish
It's no
the
problem.
job.
I am officer of police. I need to speak. The Just Sheriff. Yeah, fucking
I've
mental.
got no chance of that.
I'm out. Like,
So that was that. And then, managed to get back. And then obviously for about 6 months, it was like, well, I'd say my mum, bless her, I moved back home. And then my original bedroom was in the attic room, but she changed. She moved up there for me, and she obviously let me stay in her room, and I was just there the whole time for about at least 6 weeks. I didn't move like at the
Fuck
thing.
me.
Yeah,
what a beast, your man.
Yeah, she's a soldier. She's wicked. And then just got my recovery going, and then.
So now people can, now that the fact that you're fighting in fucking 2 weeks, you like, now you know, understand how fucking crazy that shit is, man. It's a fucking, do you know what I mean? It's obviously unbelievable you're still here, like, and then the fact that you've worked yourself back to a place you can fight again is fucking credit to yourself, mate, more than anything.
No, I appreciate that, but you know, I'll tell you this, and this is for the viewers. In sometimes when the chips are down, I feel like. For me personally, anyway, I feel like that's when I'm at my best, because you've got no choice. You know, you people, you could, what's that pity party.
Yeah.
You know, where you know, when shit happens like that, you think, fuck, I've got no choice. You know what I mean? I've got to come back from this. So it gave me so much fuel, and I actually come back to boxing in 2013, and that's when I had my first amateur fight back, and it was all 3-3s. It all changed, but I think I'll come back too soon, because my plan was just have a couple of fights, then turn professional, because I'd be training with Paul and Glenn from the Red Corner and whatnot. And I didn't go back to my original gym for the Triumph, because there had too many kids there, and I felt bad on Dinesh, who was my coach that helped me get to the national final in 2011. But I just thought, you know what, I don't want to waste his time, because I knew I wanted to turn professional, and I didn't want to go. Do you know what I mean? That
100%.
So I trained at the Red Corner, who now had an amateur gym at the time. I had a couple of fights, won a couple, lost a couple, and then I wanted to turn pro, and I think it was like June 2013. I remember training in the gym with my best mate, and this was like after hours in the Red Corner. I had the key, Glenn gave me the keys, and I was training like an animal. I was like, yeah, watch, I'm gonna achieve my dream. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And then I remember going home, and my sister, who I was living with at that time, she was out. She was away the weekend, and I remember thinking, fuck, something's not up. Like I felt like dizzy, I felt horrendous, right? So I'm thinking, shit, my started to get stomach cramps really bad. But prior to that, I was getting stomach cramps anyway, because I kept going to the doctors, and they're like, no, you're okay. But what happened was, in Vegas, they just kept me alive, But what they didn't do is they failed to sew me up to 100%
correctly,
so that when I was eating certain things, I'd get like digestive problems, and I was like, okay, I'll say it on the channel, I was like shitting blood and stuff like that. It was horrible. So so I've had this training session, I've gone home, and I'm thinking, fuck, I feel weird.
Are you taking shots to the body or anything like that in training and stuff?
Yeah,
you're a mental cunt. Oh shit! Come on, go on.
Do you know what it is though? So I'll be honest, like it was either that or I'm thinking
you got mad.
I'll go insane. I'm thinking, imagine this, right? Imagine someone's done that to you. You can't. I was trying to claim for compensation, but I knew I wasn't going to get it because I'd have to claim from him, and I thought he ain't got a pot to piss in. I thought, fuck it, I'm not even going to bother. So I thought, right, just get back in your boxing. As long as you can achieve your dream or even attempt, you'll be sane. Do you understand? So if I didn't, I would have just went off the fucking rails. Excuse my language. But yeah, so that was that. Went home. Didn't feel right. And then I went to the toilet and I'm vomiting blood. Like clots of blood. It was like, what the fuck is going on? Feeling dizzy. I phoned an ambulance, put the door of the hatch, and I said, "Listen, I'm back. Something's gone on. My stomach was I was in agony. More so than I wouldn't say more so than when I actually got stabbed.
Because you probably the adrenaline when you got stabbed.
Yeah,
but like this one, you're just in your jacks at home, like so.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're feeling every inch of it.
Feeling every single bit. Ambulance call, managed to get me. Literally took me down the block of stairs in the flats. Took me to hospital, and I swear to God, that hour I was lying there waiting to be seen was horrific. I was thinking, fuck me. I thought I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna go in a waiting room.
Yeah. But what had happened was my stomach, my intestines had leaked, and it was just poisons all going around my body.
Yeah.
Just all
the
the
intestines get rid of.
Yeah.
It's just fuck me.
Poisoned me.
Yeah.
Then I was in the hospital for 10 days. Tubes coming down my nose, waiting for an operation. And they said to me, they were like, listen, there's two scenarios that's going to happen. One, you're going to be okay. Two, you might have to have one of them, what they colostomy for you bags.
Yeah, colostomy bag,
yeah, for the rest of your life, and you might be in a bad way. 26 years of age, I was looking at all these people in the ward looking to die, and I was just thinking, what the fuck is my life about? This is insane.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go fucking nuts. Honestly, I felt like jumping out the window. That's how
you'd probably survive it. No,
I'll probably just manage to grow wings.
Eats it off the shoulder and gets up. What do I have to do?
You know what I mean? It was crazy. So luckily enough, the operation went well. And then I remember Glenn coming to the hospital, and this is why Glenn's a G, man. Like Glenn's like, he's like my dad. He's a proper dude.
You've talked about Glenn a lot.
Yeah, he's the most correct old school. He's old school, but he's just the correct wicked moles. Just a good person, and he's helped me from a kid that just wanted to go to Royal Marines, didn't do that. Went to boxing, took me from the amateurs to the pros. He's always been like there for me, kind of thing. I remember him saying to me, when I was just before the operation, don't even think about boxing. You can get your life on track. Don't worry, we'll do this, we'll get around it. And when the operation went well, I said to myself, you know what? For him, I want to win him a title. I want to win him in the gym. I swear, it gave me that much fuel. I was thinking, right, come on. Once I get myself out of this little situation, now my stomach's better, I'll have a few more amateurs and then I'll turn pro. Fast forward 2014. And had a couple more amateur fights. Won a couple, lost a couple, and I remember going in the ABAs, and I had to lose I think it was 86 kilo on a week, and I had to lose I had to make 81 because they removed the 86 kilogram category. So it was only 81 or 91. So I thought,
fucking massive difference.
Yeah.
Different cut off an arm.
Crazy, yeah, it was crazy. So I thought, you know what, I'll try and make 81, which is what I was used to. Killed myself to make the weight. No excuses. I thought I'd win the fight. Even my old amateur coach, Dinesh, thought I'd win the fight. But I just thought, you know what, let's just start fresh. You know what I mean? I thought, I'm winning, I'm losing. But prior to that, I was winning way more than I was losing. So I thought, start fresh. Knuckled down, did a learn my craft in the pros, even though I was training with Glenn and Glenn prior to that, you know, when I first started boxing. So I already had that kind of style, but then obviously when I was fighting amateur, I contradicted it a little bit and had to adapt. But then when I wanted to have my first pro fight, I just adapted quick.
It's like the shackles came off.
Yeah, shackles came off, and I was just like, right, this is fucking beast mode.
Like,
yeah, literally, you know. So I was training hard, and I was so determined because I just thought, knowing that could have been taken away from me, was like, now that I'd been sewn up, I was thinking, God is giving me a second chance at this shit. So I'm
unbreakable.
like, this is like, my mind felt like bulletproof. I was thinking, right, let's go. So that's why you see me training like I train. Honestly, I know,
train like an animal. Yeah,
it's almost like I've got this switch in my head that can go down into the lowest point and dog it out if I need to. Do you know what I mean?
I'm gonna ask you a weird question now in a weird way. Now that you're back fighting and you have that mentality now, and you probably wouldn't have had it if that hadn't happened.
Yeah.
Is there like a weird part of you that's like, fuck, it was horrible, but it's like part of my story, and now I'm this fucking on the other side of that. I'm an animal. Like, is there any part of you that's like, not glad that happened, but you can recognize?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. I get what you're saying and get the question. I think it does, because I think like I don't overanalyze it. I just think it's part of my journey, and I think God always has a plan for you. And whether, you know, what happens with the rest of my boxing career, whether it, you know, I fulfill my potential or I come up short, whatever happens, it's almost like, what I will say is that situation has gave me so much fuel and changed my mentality for the better, because it's almost like, you know, this sounds a bit cringy, but I see myself like a superhero.
Yeah, man.
And I don't want to sound egotistic.
No, but the fact
saying that, it's almost like, no, I'm unbreakable. You can't break my spirit.
There's people with that mentality who've gone through much less. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So fuck yeah, you have that.
Or people that have gone through much more. You know?
It's a common trait between so many fighters now at the highest level. Look at like Kamaru Usman. I say him all the time. He just lost his UFC fighter. He just lost his welterweight belt. But his mind, man, he comes in, he's like fucking steel.
Yeah,
and there's nothing getting in there. But he's from Africa. He moved over to the States. His dad got locked up. He's like, I've been through fucking everything. Shit, you can talk shit about me about fighting. This is light work, you know.
Yeah.
I don't, obviously we could fucking chat, we could go through your whole story the whole way up, but I am conscious I want to get into like your upcoming fights and stuff like that. But there was obviously a big moment, or one of the biggest on your fighting so far, is when you fought on the Eddie Hearn card against Jake Paul. How was that experience on like the Matchroom card? Was that your biggest showing today, the biggest event you'd fought on?
That's the biggest test, and I'd fought in I was mostly fighting on small hall shows, but then I fought on a Matchroom show when Sam Eggington headlined with Frankie Gavin in Birmingham. That was my first fight in front of Eddie Hearn. Knocked the guy out in I think the 4th round, so I was buzzing with that. And I thought, oh yeah, this was when I first signed with MTK as well. It was my second fight with MTK, so I was on a buzz and I had the momentum behind me. And then fast forward 2017, similar sort of time, I had a fight planned in the summer, and they both got cancelled. One got postponed from June. Then it got postponed to July, and I was making the light heavyweight limit, and my weight went back up because I thought, right, the fight's been cancelled twice now. But then Matthew Macklin, my manager, my co-manager with a guy called Will Stokes, rang me and said, listen, 6 weeks notice. I said, we've got Anthony Yard. So I said, yep, okay, how much is it? 12 grand. And then Matthew rang me back. He said, listen, Joe, I don't think it's a good fight for you, which I understand, because obviously Yard is like front one's top boy. He's knocking everyone out, and I thought I'd have to knock him out. He's an hard night's work. And then he said about Jake Bull. He said on a Matchroom show, Buatsy's fighting on it, and whoever else fighting on it. So, and Conor Benn was fighting on it. So,
fuck off.
It was wicked. It was a great show. It was a really good show at York Hall, which I love because it's like a small atmosphere, a bit like it's like a.
You're
dungeon.
all on top of each other.
All on top of each other.
There's loads of cards in York Hall all the time. It's great.
You know, I had 200 fans come down. It was a wicked night, and I think if it weren't for the weight, because I'd made the weight terrible, who knows how the outcome would have been, because I remember on the morning of the weigh-in, I got dragged out of a jacuzzi because I literally was like 2 pounds over the limit, and them 2 pounds was like killed me. So you know, and I remember going in the morning, running on the treadmill, nothing was coming out of me. I was bone dry.
People need to understand, like, you've already drained, you've already loaded water, all that is gone. So
Yeah,
that
all
last,
that's
it
gone.
might as well be £100. That last like
it's
1
killer.
or 2. Yeah.
You're playing, your mind's playing psychotic tricks on you.
You're dying. You're dying. Yeah.
And my friend, so I've come out of the 40-degree jacuzzi for half an hour, however long it was, and then they dried me off. We drove down to London in my mate's camper van, and I was lying down like dead for about 2 hours, right? We got to
They're a
Oxford
killer,
Street.
Joe. They're a killer.
I'm not a killer, I'm killed.
Just cut my foot off, man. Whatever it takes.
And we literally got on the scales, and they didn't calibrate the scales, but I did a check weigh-in, and I was 12 stone 5. They've recalibrated the scales on TV, and I had a sip of water, which was stupid because my manager at the time said to me, "Listen, that looks unprofessional. I've seen Jake Ball looking smug, and he's thinking he's 2 pounds under the weight. You know, I look like a little, like I was so scrawny."
You want to come in looking like you hit it bang on professional.
Yeah, got bang on professional. I had a drink of water. They've recalibrated the scales. I'm over. I'm thinking, fuck. So there's me and Glenn. Glenn had his flip flops on, running around London, and I'm Glenn. There's nothing coming out of me. And I'm still bone dry, and I'm going, Glenn, I need a piss. He's like, buzz in. I go into like a little,
which like
pub.
doesn't happen when you're
don't
cutting
happen.
weight.
I feel my kidneys cooking. So I was like I said, I went to a little pub.
Had a pint.
Had a pint. Got more water out of me by obviously having going to toilet, and then went back there, made the weight, and then I remember just sleeping the whole day. I was like, fucking hell, eating, sleeping, had a Nando's, and I rested up, had the fight, and the fight. I trained so good conditionally, and obviously had some good sparring, that after the second round knockdown, the 2 knockdowns, I was just like, I was that determined. I thought, nah. And the bookies had him to fucking knock me out or whatever else, and I was like, nah, this ain't happening.
I fucking think so,
no,
man.
don't think that on my watch. So after every round, I think round after round after round after round, I think it was like I'd won most of the rounds apart from maybe the 9th and the 10th. And then it come back 97-94, which was the round of 3 points, which I lost in the second round.
I'll put in some footage over that after the track, because that fight you got fight. That was fight of the night, wasn't it? Well, it was in the paper.
Fight of the month.
Fight of the month.
The second round got, I think,
whopper,
back one of the rounds of the year or something like that.
It's a whopper, that round.
It's a classic.
And then Glenn when like
in the corner,
get the
so that was good. And then after the fight, you know, my stock had kind of risen, and even though I lost, I felt like I'd kind of won because I put myself on the radar a little bit. I had a fight planned with Ricky Summers, who just lost to Buglioni, and that was going to be for the Midlands regional title. Both of us were coming off losses, but it was a great fight, and I trained wicked for it. And the annoying thing was, I was flying. I was just like, off the back of that, my confidence was high. Got tonsillitis 10 days out. I pulled out of the fight. Fight didn't go ahead, and then 218 come around. Had a fight in the match, won that, and then I'd planned to have another fight in the Intercontinental in the summer. But then what had happened after that? That was it. Yeah, my manager from MTK, he pulled out. He said that he's not going to be managing me no more because Macklin's going on to the commentaries full time in Sky, and MTK had been taken over from Central Vaughan.
Yeah.
So everything changed, the logistics, and
which can fuck up everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It fucked me up massively. That just fucked me up, because what happened then is the regional part of where I was from, there wasn't really a manager who was putting on shows and stuff. So you get local shows that can just keep you busy, and then obviously you know, that kind of messed everything up. So
because you're looking to fucking like start to make your ascent.
Yeah.
And just at that moment,
At
just like your legs get taken out. From
I had an Intercontinental title, but then I had a fight planned in the July 2018 when the World Cup was on. I was making weight, and I remember I got a phone call a week before saying he fights off. No, it was I think it was 2 days before, I was raging. I was thinking, I was on a run. I was on a run with a sweatsuit. I was thinking, fucking hell. So I'm like, I said, you know, to my manager at the time, name. I said, you're fucking joking. I said, listen,
100%.
Like, get me someone else then. And he was like, oh, it's hard to get someone, blah 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 blah. And then so I didn't end up fighting. The show still went ahead on me headlining, and they sold the show on that, which I was raging about. And Glenn, who was training me for like literally next to nothing, and he was getting his 10%, which would have been nothing again. Then I said to him, listen, Glenn, I'll treat you to Barcelona. I'm going to take you to Barcelona. So we went to Barcelona. I didn't have apart from a few trips to Thailand, training, because I used to get like sponsors by Unit 27.
But this is like your first holiday in fucking...
This is like my first proper holiday, you know? This is like, when I used to go to Thailand, I used to just train. So I've gone to Barca. Me and Glenn had a good little weekend, like a lads weekend, you know, got him, drunk a few times, and Glenn's not one to be like that. And then I phoned my mate up in Marbella, and I said, listen, I want to come out to see you. He said, yeah, cool, man. So I went out there, and I was like, and I remember meeting Tom Stalker, even though, because we had a mutual friend, I told him about my situation. He said, oh, look, come over, I train in MCK Marbella. And
there's a big boxing scene here, or at the time,
yeah,
MCK
at the time,
it
was good, you know, so I thought, oh, okay. And I remember training with a guy called Jorge Rubio, who trained Luke Campbell, and I just started gelling with him and whatever else. And I'm like, you know, I like this. I stayed for a couple of weeks.
Luke Campbell, who's huge right now.
Yeah,
He fought Lomachenko.
Fought Lomachenko. And then I remember saying, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go to Miami, have a fight in Miami. And Tom Stalker said, oh, look, I'll be your manager if you want. So we arranged that. Went over to Miami. Fight fell through last minute. Went out for a month. Thought, fuck this, I'm going home. Went back to the UK. And I thought, you know what, there's not really much there for me now, because obviously there were the fights. I said, you know what, I'm going to come to Marbella, see if I can, you know, get based here, fight out there. Had 2 fights. I had one in Spain, but then one back in Coventry on John Pegg's show. And then I had another fight planned in May on John Pegg's show. This is 219 now. That didn't go ahead. And then we're looking at now, Glenn had his wedding 219, and then after that, the golden contract, I just missed out on that, a place on that, the light heavyweight. But then I had an offer from a cruiserweight in Canada for the WBC silver title.
It's a real fucking title.
Yeah, it was a big title.
Huge. Yeah.
So we did a lot of promo for that. And then the guy got cut, they postponed it, and then the pandemic happened. So it was like, fuck.
Jesus Christ, man. Do you know what I mean? And like, one thing I'd say about you, which is incredibly, not admirable, but like boxers in general, like it's so easy, because people see the big fights now, and like so rarely, like on huge cards, because there's so much money to pull out, so much less. On this lower level of boxing, where like a lot of lads are like semi-pro, they're doing work on the side and stuff, like pullouts are so common. But like when you're trying to get yourself into condition, obviously say your managers and your coaches are all making money. Like you only make money when you're making money, you know, there's all percentages. So you're under this pressure to like line up fights, but also make sure they're the right ones for you. And you're also conscious, I need to keep winning in order to continue the ascent. And then for something to get pulled after all that work, it'd be very easy for you to lose, be like, fuck this, man, I can't. But you know, and then after the pandemic, you can be like, you could be like, look, man, the pandemic's gone, I've opened up my gym here, I'm having huge success with that. Maybe you've just done with the boxing side of it, but you're like, nah, still, I guess it's just in you, and you're like, and you have, especially when you know you have like you stuff to give in the sport, and you're like, I can still do this. I guess it's impossible for you to now not see it out and go all the way.
That's exactly, you just hit the nail on the head. You know, with the pandemic and how it, I mean, who would have thought, if someone said to me, this is going to happen in 2020 after the year I had in 2019, you know, moving to Marbella and everything like that, I would have said, you're on what you smoking, you know, because it was just crazy. It was like being in a film. But then, you know, the boxing scene went dead in Spain, especially. MTK Marbella had closed. So I was like, okay, what am I going to do? So I thought, you know, I was doing a lot of PTs in my garage, and I was making good money. I was thinking, wow, you know, I was saving some good money. because you couldn't spend it. So all I was doing, everyone wanted to train me.
Over here, you couldn't even go outside and shit. So the opportunity to go train, like, unbelievable.
It was like an underground thing. So and what happened was I got this lad who I was training. He was training 5 days a week. He lost about 2 stone. But you know what PT's like? It was like all the gyms were closed, word of mouth.
Yep.
Who's this kid you're training? So I kind of kept it hush hush. You know, I trained everyone in my garage, and then managed to save a bit of money. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to get my own gym. 12 rounds comes about in, you know, the year later, late 2021. Found a derelict building and just turned it from a shout into what it is now. I'll put some pics up of it, some footage of it. It's a fucking paradise for you, man. It's perfect. Yeah, it's cool. It's perfect. And you know, I can get the champs comp off the ground. But then there was something in me, Sam, that I just thought, you know what, I'll always live in regret if I don't see this out and just see where I can get
100%. To. After all the work, like, you're like, there's no way it's stopping here.
And it's one of them things, and I'd always say this to anyone, you know, if you've got a dream, pursue it until you know you've gave it everything, because if you don't, you wake up every day with regret. And, you know, I was looking through all my, you know, you get on your Apple memories, you know, come up on my iPad or my iPhone, it'd be like, oh, you know, good sparring sessions or whatever, and I'd be like, fuck, man, you know, this is what I used to be, and I'm thinking, nah, I'll get back there. That's where we're at now, and you know, this fight in 2 weeks will definitely determine whether I've still got it or not, and you know, I just still love the boxing, and regardless what happens in my boxing career, I know I'll always stay in boxing. It'll always be in me, you know, and it's a great place to be in. So
how has training been?
It's been fantastic.
Good.
Yeah, it has been fantastic. It's just like everything's clicked together now, and Kerry, who I actually first met over here in 2019 when I first moved.
Wizard on the pads.
Yeah, he's shit hot, and he's actually a very, very good coach. So it's like we just gel.
He said I had a heavy right hand when we did our few classes together.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he ran the shit out of me, and I was like, oh god. He said do a few runs up the ramp. I did like.
Oh, did he? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Shit,
he loves that. He loves that little ramp. But so you know, we've found a good, obviously logistically with me being over here, it just makes sense. You know, my team from Red Corner are going to be coming over for the fight.
That's what we said.
Be doing the corner, so it's just going to be, you know, a great setup, and we're going to pick up where I left off, I'm sure, and get back to winning ways. I've got a good opponent as well, winning record, and you know, get through this, then we'll you know, have a couple more, and then hopefully the phone starts ringing and we get some big fights or opportunities. And
if I could give you, if you could have the choice of how it goes now for the next 5 years or the rest of your fighting career, if you could plan it out exactly how you want it, how would it go?
I have a couple of fights over here before Christmas. That'll take me to 16, provided I win both of them. That'll take me to 16-1, 70 fights in. Then next year,
fucking sexy record.
Yeah, it's not too bad. But then at the same time, I'll be brutally honest with myself. I've probably had about half of them have actually come to win. The rest of them are just like. But
this is boxing as well. It's not you fight who's in front of you. Do you know what I mean? That's not your problem.
Of course. You know, you do your little apprentice, but then at the same time, you can, you know, really now it's like.
Look at any pro's first 10 fights.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I mean? Genuinely,
that's like mine. So, yeah, have good fights. Get myself into the rhythm of it. You know, next year start really stepping up. You know, get some high quality sparring. Really putting myself, testing myself, and then you know, put myself in big fights. And then you know, if anything comes in Europe, UK, Dubai, whatever, you know, I'm ready. You know, I know I'm not going to be like the A side, or I'm not going to. But hopefully, I can, you know, get these 2 wins out of the way, and then just put myself out there and get let off the leash and fulfill my potential.
Yeah, man.
I'll try at least, you know.
Well, I'll obviously on the fucking content side, I'll fucking do whatever I can to promote the shit out of that fight, man. Because that's gonna be mental, mate. It's just gonna be unreal after all this time now to see you fucking scrap someone and kill this guy. Yeah, no offense to this, obviously respect to him and all that shit, but it's gonna be a tough night for him.
That'd be sure.
Just a few kind of chiller questions to round us out here, mate. Just to kind of get to know you a little bit better. Question I ask everyone who's been to Dublin: how did you you enjoy when you've been there? You went to the Black Forge and you were there and got a feed in.
Yeah, I love Dublin. It's just funny. It's just because I hadn't been home for a while. I went back to the UK not so long ago, about a couple of weeks ago, and it's the first time. Just obviously with the gym, it's very hard to get the break. But I've always wanted to go to Dublin. who wants to go on and want to go Galway and a few other places. But went to Dublin, and it just felt like home.
Yeah.
Even when I was in the taxi, when I landed there, I got a taxi from the airport, and the guy's making jokes straight away, and like the crack, I don't know, and I'm just laughing my head off, because it's just like what I miss. When you hear that, there's a lot of English people, but it's everyone's in a little bubble here.
It's just a different, 100%
different. You know yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just slightly less hospitable. I think a lot of people over here, it's you're either working, you know what I mean, and you're living like kind of check, or there's the real like rich side of people who are here, who've kind of made it already and see it like that, and they're in their own little bubbles, as you said. But in Dublin, it has a great way of equalising everyone, which is lovely. Like you see why fucking load of celebrities go and live in, or like go on holiday in Dublin, or like Tom Cruise will walk down Grafton Street, you might get a few people being like, hey Tom, but there won't be mobs with like paparazzi, people don't give a fuck.
They just like, there's Tom Cruise there.
They'd be like, hey mate, or like I'm trying to think who the other one, or like Matt Damon, or someone went to Howth and like goes like swimming and stuff, or like Harry Styles went to Howth, walks down, goes swimming, a lot of lads like, oh, Styles over there, but like, geez, water's cold today, that's it. There's no like, he's not getting mobbed. So I fucking love that about Dublin, man.
It's cool. It's very hospitable as well, and it's just a fucking cool place.
It's a cool spot, man. I'm going back there a bit now before Christmas. I have 3 trips planned back there, which is great. This is a fucking I hate asking this question because it's sappy as shit, but it really does tell me a lot about you as a person and like what you find interesting. If you could have a dinner with 3 people, anyone, and from different walks of life, dead or alive, just who would you find interesting? Who do you think you could learn something from?
That's a good question. Shit, man, that's a very, very good question. Muhammad Ali. I think a lot of people would say him. And alive now, Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Because I just think he's out there, and his mind
weird.
is just, he's very complex, and I just would like to know how. And then Denzel Washington, man.
Okay.
He's a cool
Yeah.
He's a cool. So I think them 3 would be cool. That I probably missed other people like
him and like Remember the Titans and shit when he was in that. That was the first time that I saw him in, when he's Coach Boom, and he's like, Remember the Titans? Have you seen that? He's a football coach.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, you gotta watch it.
Nah.
He's like is in like when the segregation of schools joined up, and like all the black lads and the white lads were playing football together for the first time, and he was like the first black head coach in Virginia.
Okay.
That's all about how he brings them together. It is beast. He's so good in it. He's just a quality, but he's a beast actor.
He's done Hurricane. He's done Training Day is my favourite, and then obviously American Gangster. He's a sick actor, man. So,
unreal.
Well, look,
I'm obviously gonna. I'll have some content going out about your fight, so we'll get the result out of when you fucking murder this bloke, and then we will hopefully continue your story, man, down the line. But thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. Obviously this has been coming for a while, and
no, for sure.
It was fucking great chat. I was working hard because your story could go on for 5 hours, mate, but obviously I'm conscious you're in camp, so hopefully we get to do this again after.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, definitely, and keep up with the Pear pod, because I've been watching it, and it's interesting, man. It's
interesting. Cool. Thank you, bro.
Thank you very much.
All right, lads. Go follow Joe if you're ever in Marbella. 12 rounds gym in Estepona. He'll work the fucking shit out of you if you want to. And I'll keep you all updated on Joe's fight and how he gets on. And hopefully we'll have him back on again. Cheers, bro.
Wicked. Thank you very much. Wicked. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That was sick.
Thanks, bro.
Go on, Sam.